Welcome from the break. This is the Dialogue on Soul TV. My name is Principal Richard Baguma, a veteran journalist, but also a strong advocate for road safety. Dr. Gerard Wele Wanzala, a public policy researcher, but also an associate lecturer at Uganda Management Institute. We are reflecting on the major events of the week and particularly the preps within political formations as they look at 2026. Yoweri Museveni is expected to pick nomination forms from the NRM Electoral Commission offices at Chadondo Road, and he will be now seeking to retain the flag for the NRM in the 2026 elections, but also to retain his office as national chairman of the party. Well, we're asking, what do you read through these political events and activities happening as we gear up for 2026, looking across the board as the Democratic Front also takes shape. But also we have very many new parties coming up, the People's Front for Freedom. We have is it what, for Muhammad Nsereko? Is it a Republican Party of Uganda?
Ecology Party.
The Ecology Party of Uganda, and many others, old formations that have been here. Let me read some of the messages. Bobby has disorganized those guys every cycle of election. They have always wanted to matter by creating alliances and parties. I am sure if DF gets 5 MPs in the next election, it will be a milestone, which I don't see. Secondly, they talked of NUP being for Baganda, but I was shocked with their leadership. It was an evidence they have no focus. Finally, our opposition parties fight each other than fighting the ruling party. Peter Nangoti in Mbale. Very strong observations from Peter Nangoti in Mbale. And morning Principal, I go with Impuga because NUP guys are comedians. Let him, okay, for his party, which is serious, but 2026 elections will be easy for President Museveni because opposition are just fighting each other. Richard in Ntungamo, thank you so much for watching, and that's your observation. Okay. This is Patriot Nomwami Ambrose in Mutungo. He says, good morning, team Apollo. My prediction is like this. Mr. Museveni, 57%. Bobby Wine, 23%. The rest will share the remaining percentage. I think now he agrees with Richard that we can easily predict. I don't know. It's you who said you can easily predict the outcome of the 2026 elections. And me, I ask, if we know the results, why do we actually go through such a delicate and violent process? We know that it will have at least some pockets of violence. Why would we go into that? That's my question. I'll be reading other messages as they come in, and quickly let's conclude on this. Just your final comment relating from what you've heard from the viewers. Final comment as we switch to another topic.
Of course, the electoral politics of Uganda has become a ritual. We're going to go through it. All of these nominations, the celebrations are now seeming okay, but we're going to see pockets of violence.
Somebody died in Remiaga last evening.
Yeah, I was actually coming to that. That if you can see in Remiaga, it is NRM, again it's NRM. Even before the official campaign period starts, people are killing each other. For me, what I saw in the Kawempe by-election, I think scares me. Because we are likely to have the violence. We are likely to have, I'm not a prophet of doom, but there are signs The young people seem to be very agitated. Don't be deceived with these youth elections, the results we are seeing, that NRM has captured the youth councils. This is all cosmetic. When you go on the ground in so many parts of this country, there are so many sentiments. You go, Acholi is divided. I just quickly, let me go through some of the areas. If you go to Acholi, and I think intelligence has this information, if you go to East Acholi, that is Agago, Lamo, and Pader areas neighboring Langu, there are inroads, serious inroads of UPC, and NRM, of course, is there. NRM is there. But if you come to Central Acholi, Gulu, Omoro, and around there, and Nuoya, you'll see that there is NRM, but also there is PFF and FDC. If you go to East Acholi, you'll see FDC under influence of Gilbert Olanya. In West Nile, lower West Nile is mostly NRM. You go up Obogi areas, and so there's strong opposition in Obogi. You come to the east, in the Bugisu now, there, when people have heard of Nandala contesting, there are sentiments saying that, oh, because power contested, so many Itesots joined the government at a top level. So why can't we also use Nandala Mafabi to make a statement such that they also respect us, instead of giving us Karamoja affairs, where people are tempted to steal iron sheets and so bad. So there is that influence of Nandala, which may change the tide once the elections come, because people want to use it as a bargaining chip. Busoga is almost gone. If you look at the 2021 election,
Busoga is NUP.
NUP won in Bugweri, NUP won in Mayuge, NUP won in Jinja, NUP won in Kamuli, NRM won in Wiyende and Luuka, and those, so they shared. But NRM, NUP defeated. And Jinja is a boiling point for NUP. Buganda is gone. People should not deceive the president with this NRM for Buganda, where eating money.
Sure.
Yes, they can make efforts to keep that small percentage, but Buganda is gone. So the mathematics, a lot of strategies as usual have to be employed by the establishment to retain the incumbent. And as usual, one is going to is money. That one started with the PDM, and about 2.6 million households have received 1 million in this country. I think more money is going to be spent, because while increasing classified expenditure and money for donations, that's a strategy. The other is working with because the independence of the Electoral Commission is questioned by many stakeholders. So that may also have a role to play. Okay. But most importantly, security is clearly partisan, and we're going to see it play out in the electoral process.
All right, Richard, let's conclude on this. Just a final comment. The general politics.
The money. The money, obviously. The Chiboko and some bullets.
We should expect money. Money has come.
Yeah. Quite a bit of Chiboko and bullets.
Eh?
Yeah. And then we'll be here.
Eh.
Yeah. Then we'll be here. The leadership will be the same. Yeah.
You remind me of Mama Baba's slogan. Was it a slogan or was this a statement of more of the same? That's what we should expect. My name is Prince Apollo. Let's have your comments and observations on the number on the screen, not 0701609906. Send by WhatsApp, send by SMS. Tell us what you think about these preparations for 2026, but also the sticker issue that is here about the arts and humanities teacher. Their strike is entering a third week, and they still contest the government policy of awarding science teachers a 300% increase on their salaries And for them, they remain where they were. A science teacher now who is a graduate earns at least 4 million. And an arts teacher who is a graduate earns, is it 1.07 million? That's a huge disparity. And this has been a matter of contention for years. But what triggered this strike is the absence of an allocation in the 2025-2026 budget for these arts teachers. And they are saying they sit in the same staff rooms with the science teachers. They carry or undertake the same workload as the science teachers, but government has decided to discriminate them. That's what they say. And there have been calls from government. They actually met the minister, the honorable minister, their leaders met the honorable minister for education and sports, but they have defied the call to return to class. And the students or learners are actually missing the attention of the teachers. I want to start with you, Dr. Wanzara. Speak about this government's broader policy of science-led development agenda in relation to the issue of teachers. Do you find government handling this matter in a better way, in an appropriate manner?
Thank you very much, Apple. I think before I go to the subject matter of science, for the benefit of listeners, recently I was looking at a comprehensive report on education outcomes in this country and the issues in the education sector. There are so many challenges in the education sector. If you look at the issues in the education sector, one, there is an issue of dropout, massive dropout rates. And then the disconnect between the disconnect between the students who are dropping out and what they find to do in the field out there. Because there are education outcomes at various levels. When someone finishes PLO, what are they able to do? Like one time I told you here that I have a maternal uncle who retired as a primary school head teacher, very respected educationist in Bugisu. He stopped in P7 and then branched off to teacher training college. So there was a time when Uganda, after P7, someone would become a teacher and go and study and be an excellent teacher and has a pathway to education up to a degree. There was a time when people would go to Eligon Tech, Kichwamba, and so forth, and excel from a junior certificate after P7 to ordinary certificate, diploma, and they become commissioners in the ministries and so forth. Now, today, I think that gap is so huge that these people, first of all, the reports show that 8 out of 10 children of upper primary cannot solve a mathematical problem of the lower primary. We have had, what happened? We have had teachers who are taken through exams of PLA and they fail all of them, primary school teachers. Then we have at secondary school level and university. Today, an average university graduate is not coming out with what they call 21st century life skills. You know, it is always good for all of us to say, what do you want your child to be? You know, a doctor, a lawyer. That's an African parent. But many are studying professions, but then at the end of the day, they don't have the communication skills, they don't have the digital skills, they don't have emotional intelligence, they don't have the strategic thinking or critical thinking that they can think about something. If you studied, say, BCom accounting, and you have not got a job in accounting, what can you do?
But government
do?
introduced.
So
Government introduced. Is it TVET and BTVET? Those
it
training.
is not new. They just rename them. These programs were they actually
And they
most
running.
technical institutes were rolled out during UPC government. That's the reality.
And they running.
They run, but what value do we attach to them? Because now what we did is my son failed. Maybe I take him to the technical. We look at them as a place of failures, not as institutions that can add to the development of the country. We are talking about the oil sector, emerging oil sector. You think the oil sector takes graduates mostly? It is mostly these skills that people learn, the technical skills. So if you look at, there are so many, there's lack of counseling and guidance. There is pay disparities, where now we are talking about 4 million for science, and then a teacher of arts is earning 500,000. They go to the same supermarket, they rent in the same locality. So I think if we, the president's vision, because right now that the priority under the National Development Plan is to focus on what they call technology, science, and tourism and others. Some of them, yes, require sciences. But the best approach is not for you to bring these pay disparities. I think the better thing to do would have been to focus on building the school's infrastructure, have the laboratories equipped so that students have, like under the new lower secondary school curriculum, 20% at UNEB is derived from the projects children do. But what projects are they doing? Are they doing? Have you equipped the school with facilities for children to be able to engage in meaningful projects? So
you're saying even as we push for sciences, we have not facilitated the learners.
Yes, there are foundations. There are foundations.
To embrace science.
Exactly. You can probably, if they said, let's give an allowance, but if you give 3 times or 4 times, what you are basically doing is to demotivate. Because the science teacher does not work alone. The arts teacher work there. You also have people in administration within the same school. Look at the most unreasonable issue of arts head teachers. Head teachers who are arts have been earning, I think, about 1.6 million. And their science teachers are earning 4 million. So how do you supervise a person who is earning bigger than is basically your boss?
Richard, actually he ends with a very critical matter of the arts. People who have studied art subjects, taken up art subjects. I saw a placard, one of those the protesters are brandishing. And it had a list of leaders in government, that the president, arts, the vice president, arts, the prime minister, speaker of parliament, arts. But they are the people who are actually running the affairs of this country. And the arts teachers seem not to be appreciated. What do you think?
I actually thought, and I sincerely hope I am wrong, but I actually thought that UNATU had become too powerful. The Uganda National Teachers Association. I actually thought that it had become too powerful. And the only way to manage it was to break it.
Yeah. That was a faction.
Find a way of breaking it. One is you co-opt their leaders, the strong leaders, into your lap, so you deny it, that kind of leadership, but you also create a divide. It's a classic approach to many, you throw money at people usually, and they will break. So yeah, you have a union and you have. So I thought this had been to really say, you create, so you have to, because it's become an important rallying point. And you see, when you have, every time you see where you have an opposition group building momentum, because certainly there is unhappiness in the
Resentment.
population. Yes, there is a sentiment of distrust and happiness, but it has no leadership. Once a group identifies itself and starts organizing successfully and wrestling, uh, wrestling concessions from you, then they can actually keep growing in power and be the running group. So that's what I thought.
Looks like you're saying the absence, of that influence of UNATU, that powerful UNATU, has somehow not helped this issue of arts teachers.
Yeah, because you see, they used to negotiate as a very powerful tool. That you would open the camp and the schools would not be open. And that creates a huge amount of pressure on government. Now, you have them, but how many are protesting? How many are out there protesting? So what is their impact? They can receive a cold shoulder because their impact is not immediately felt.
Richard,
it's a long-term impact, and it doesn't directly affect. Many of us, our children are unlikely
the issue is
to be in a public school.
Robert, Richard, the issue is we cannot say the authorities do not know what is happening. Because, like I said, the Honorable Minister for Education and Sports even met these people. I think it's this week. They met these people. They know what is happening. They've heard and listened to their grievances. But why are they not responding in a manner that can, resolve this standoff?
It's unlikely that the way we are seated on this panel, with the management of this TV, that our children are in
government schools. I get you.
That they are feeding the pinch.
They aren't.
It's unlikely. So
I get you now.
It makes the bargaining power of the arts teachers much less. That is one of the things. The other thing is that the impact is on the learners and is insidious. It takes a long time for you to feel it. It is not immediate. You don't feel it. That's why one of the things they threaten to do that I think is impactful is not to respond to any anything, because the assessment must be continuous. So they don't submit anything. They don't, I think that was powerful. There you can have pressure building. But for our schools, some of the schools where we studied from, which give a top up anyway, I can give you an example of one of the schools here in Kampala. The school was giving a top up to the teachers. The teachers were getting about $1 million.
On top of their salaries.
It was giving them another top up of about another $1 million. Now, the science teachers moved here and went to 4. The school was struggling to get more fees. It's a big elite school. To increase the other teachers to 3 million. At least.
To create a balance.
To create a reasonable balance. And so the parents were taking this burden. Absolutely, the parents were taking this burden, and it's not a small school. It's a top school here. So it is the lower, the majority, yes, the lower the population, wananchi, who feel the pinch,
and rural schools,
who really have less voice. They have less access to this one. They have less access to offices and what. But 2, the impact is long term. It's not immediate. So it can be ignored for a time with promises. What I really think, Apollo, is that this adds to the already existing crisis in our education sector. I keep really thinking that it's a crisis. This question that Dr. Warike talked about.
Of school dropouts?
Yes, I really have raised it here, I don't know how many times. It's really explosive. It is, Apollo. We can pretend.
But I say, wait a minute. I say the powers in government going around opening innovation hubs. I hope you've seen them. across the country.
Yes.
What are they doing? I mean, they may be in that line of what you're demanding for.
No, I'm part of the innovation ecosystem. Yeah. So the other time I was in Barara, not too long ago, for an influencer monetization training. But I think I need to carry around those hubs that you're talking about.
You said you are,
I think I need
you are
to-
part of
the ecosystem.
the ecosystem.
And the ecosystem is not just government. In fact,
Oh.
the larger players in the ecosystem are not even government.
Sure.
No.
Then what about skilling hubs?
Oh, that's a different thing.
Oh, that's a different
No,
thing.
that's a totally different thing. And they are good. I have also been there. Yes, and so the lines of here near my place, they are good. I do not. What I don't understand is why we don't integrating skilling in the
In learning.
the mainstream learning. I don't.
No,
It's
I
what
think
don't
in the new
understand.
curriculum,
So-
like he said,
so what this
there is
skill-
a project work. That's
Yeah,
part
but you
of.
see, when you have a skilling program, this is what I'm talking about. And then it's the RDC and the GISO and the PISO to select. Then again, you go back to our individual merit, individual gain thing. And then you bring posters of a certain person around it. So you go back again to our deception.
Oh,
Yeah.
deception.
You go back again. And why are we not mainstreaming this skill? Because all these people, many of these people have come, but almost all of them are these dropouts.
Yeah.
So why don't we catch them before they drop out? Because we can't put posters around the skilling thing if we catch them in the mainstream. So again, Apollo is it's not that we lack the understanding. It is that we're really selfish.
But Dr. Were raised an issue of also an issue of, I mean, the new broader policy of science-led development, yet we do not facilitate
There's nothing new.
scientists
There's nothing new.
and research.
No, there's nothing new, Apollo. The policy of science-led development is not new. The only element we have picked out is what we euphemistically call enhancement of pay enhancement of science teachers. That's all.
That's all.
That's what we are talking about. But science-led has been here. It's just that science-led has been more inward than in. You see, if you take the budget for this education sector and you say, okay, so how much have you put into ensuring
Lab equipment.
that the foundations, the science
Yes, the
foundations
science labs.
at primary school are there? What
The
have
computer
you,
labs.
What have you done in that budget? What is it you are doing that at teacher training institutions you are orienting teachers to science? So again, it's rhetoric. Rhetoric is and action.
Deception.
They are apart.
My name is Prince Apollo. Let's have your messages, comments and observations on the topics we have on table. We are talking about the arts teachers strike and the cold response from government. I call it cold because it's not the first time these teachers are striking for pay, but you see the response is lukewarm. It's lukewarm. Personally, I am a science teacher, and really it's disturbing for a person of the same qualification to have salary disparities. Education sector have been messed up. 1.2 complete PROE, 1.2 million, I think, pupils, complete PROE, and 350,000 complete O-level, then 100,000 complete USCE, and only 40,000 graduate.
True.
And even after graduation, government has no solution. I mean, okay, the issue of salary, the government is hiding the truth that the money they are giving scientists is a funding from Japan. I'm sure it will not be possible to give all teachers 4 million. However, At least let them increase something other than leaving completely. On the new curriculum, it's very good, but it's so demanding. Most of the projects need money, which schools and learners don't have. Peter Nangoti in Imbali. I think he raises salient issues, especially on even the projects run under the new curriculum are not well facilitated. So they will be just on paper.
They will be on paper, and we run a risk where people will be given free marks, like because they contribute 20% to the UNEP.
Yes.
So where schools
So they will just get marks,
giving the 20% that children pass highly.
They will just pass, but without the skills from
the
those
skills.
projects.
Exactly.
It's
Richard
amazing.
mentioned something very important. Integration of skilling, career guidance, and then the world of work within the school curriculum, such that you don't have to wait for these fellows to drop out. But because even if they drop out, they should enter there with the skills. And this is what happens in other education systems. So that's why they have to invest in school infrastructure. You know, today there is serious shortage of special needs teachers. There's absence of physical education in the schools. There is absence of counseling and guidance. In China, I used to see something called the Discover the World of Entrepreneurs. The children in secondary school learn entrepreneurship, practical. But here, if we do wait, yes. Also, we like politicizing. Because skilling hubs are good, but where are they under the president's office, presidential initiative on skilling? Because we want to do everything that we all need for political gain. Exactly. Is it the right ministry to preside over that?
Peter talked about the funding from Japan. He alleges that even the money they are giving scientists, the top up, is the funding from the Japanese government. I didn't know. He says it won't be sustainable. It will not be sustainable paying every teacher 4 million. I don't know.
Yeah, I did not know that actually was funding being subsidized by Japan. But if it is being funded, usually these programs come up with the objective of government later finding resources to take it up. But now, how will you take it up when the majority who are arts teachers, maybe I think science teachers are less than 20% of the entire teachers in
the science teachers
are few.
Yeah,
few. So now, if you are promising, because I saw the meeting with the Minister of Education, they promised also to increase to bring them to level in 2-3 financial years. But where are the resources?
There are those who were there are teachers who were vetted, I think, interviewed.
Yes.
Anyway, good morning, Sol TV. Politics in Uganda is just for eating. Why not put money in institutions instead of increasing classified expenditure and dishing out billions to individuals? President Museveni is surrounded by greedy opportunists who forget that they can't maintain the current lifestyle once they lose their government jobs. How many of those praising what Museveni has done go to government hospitals, take their kids? How many of those praising what Museveni has done take their kids to UPE nebigenderako? Let those in power focus on building institutions instead of focusing on their stomachs. And he says he's Rose Mudua, and he says, for God and my country. Thank you so much, Rose. We don't know where you're watching from, but thank you so much. She talked about, she raised an issue here. Yes, that's what you said, that these people actually who are in charge, who are responding, who are supposed to respond to the teachers' calls, do not have their kids in government schools where this strike is happening. So perhaps that's...
They don't. You see, we know that largely government schools standards.
Because private schools are running. I mean,
yeah, because for them they are not affected
normally
by they don't necessarily get 4 million, but you see, we know that generally government schools, the majority of them, the standards went down. There are some very good schools that are holding, some traditional schools, but look at what they pay. You can't afford to take your child there.
Wow.
Anyway, yeah.
Hello, thanks for the show. I am Andrew from Busia. I think it's becoming a troubleism. Oh, okay. Things between Baganda themselves and NRM will win as early as 5 p.m. Thanks for the show. I'm also still in school and I'm going to be an arts teacher. So, should my parents stop paying my university tuition? I didn't capture the first
No,
message.
the guys,
The message in the first
that one I don't
post.
know. But no, I don't know when.
But-
They were
but-
talking about 5 p.m. I don't know. What they
Yeah,
said.
okay, but he raises a serious concern. Now the students who are still in, education institutions, either teacher training institutions, he speaks the mind of those who are still even under training now to become arts teachers. The message seems to be clear now to them. You are not, well appreciated. Your services are not well appreciated.
Yeah, I think, and that it is not true that we don't need teachers. The country still needs teachers. The population keeps growing.
Sure.
Entrepreneurs create schools. Even government shouldn't be contented with. I'm seeing them building city schools. So those city schools will need teachers. And if you need teachers, you need teachers who are motivated. We need.
Actually, the issue is motivation.
Yes.
And if we could do,
And the issue of motivation
if we could
is not only
count the
about
cost,
money, by the way.
yeah, if we could count the cost of what this declining motivation
Yes.
is the toll it is taking on our kids or our learners. I think it is so huge.
Because world over, if you look at the way teachers, especially these mass employments, because teachers are usually many, nurses are usually many in health, and so you find sometimes the salary is not so huge. There are no salary disparities, but they are motivated by the environment,
Yeah.
maybe teachers' houses.
Yeah.
They are able to sleep near and then reach the class early. They are able to have lunch within the school system. So that a teacher doesn't appear in the afternoon when the stomach is grumbling. You won't focus. So this creating pay disparity was a huge mistake. And you see, I was also looking at continuous teacher development. Do you know this government had abandoned continuous teacher development? That when a teacher leaves a teacher's college, they are supposed to have programs for continuous teacher
While
development,
they are still
so
in
they're able to
service.
update their skills. Periodically, they take them, and we used to have that job being done by ITEC, Institute for Teacher Education,
Was it in Chambogo?
in Chambogo. Now, when we universitized everything, that was lost. Now, recently, I think 2 years back, government came again with a bill creating institute with a different, slightly different name, Institute for Teacher Education. So now they had closed the national teachers colleges, so they have reopened them so that they become centers for continuous. So we operate as if we are gambling, as if the country is going to end after 5 years. Then we backtrack on what to do. Why can't we have comprehensive planning for a country? Because Uganda will always be here.
All right. Somebody says it's an allegation I cannot qualify. Says the Minister of Education. Okay. I leave it there. It's a comment on the Minister of Education. Rose Mudua is watching from Sweden. Thank you so much. People in the diaspora watching. Thank you. And I can also remind you that you can send by SMS, not only WhatsApp, but by SMS. and we'll be reading those messages as we close in the next 10 minutes. Good morning. I am Mr. Rion from Balala. The only problem is that Mzee Museveni is aging. But if not, that he should have led until further. Okay. And our votes await him in case he stands. I didn't get the message, Mr. Leon from Balala. You say the problem is Mr. Museveni is aging. Okay. But you say you'll vote for him. Okay. Thank you. It's your opinion and it's your
choice.
It's your choice. Museveni will win with 80%. Chagulanyi will 16%. This is Muhumuza Jonani in Shema district. But your projection stands that what is obvious is Museveni will return as president. That is your opinion. Thank you so much, Muhumuza Jonan in Shema district. Okay. Let's conclude, gentlemen. We have a few minutes. Let's conclude. Mr. Polo and the panel. I salute Mr. Baguma's heart. I am a very Keru Ampumuza. And Keru Ampumuza is an ardent viewer of the dialogue. We appreciate you, gentlemen and ladies. He appreciates the heart of Balalo.
Yeah.
Fresh from Acholi land.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now let's conclude, gentlemen. As we speak about arts and scientists, we have had a sticky issue of salary disparities across the board, right from politicians, people earning more than 40 million, while their teachers, their former teachers, are earning 500,000. I don't know if and did we hear in the budget that income inequality has decreased?
Yeah, but we were here punching holes in some of the statistics. Because according to government, income inequality has dropped up to about 30%, I think. That's what they said. And they said the poverty has reduced to 16%. But do the statistics resonate with what is happening on the ground? Because if that was the case, we wouldn't even having all these issues of food insecurity. These days, people who live in town used to go and come back with food. These days, when they visit, they go with food to the villages. So I think structurally, there are issues. If we continue singing statistics, this year we have enrolled this number of children in P1, we have over 30 universities. What are we learning? Those are the questions. What are the education outcomes? Those are the things we need to ask ourselves. If we are saying the economy is growing, you show us the transformation in the rural areas. Show us, do people have food? Are people, because if people are in the villages where they're stealing food, then you know that place has food insecurity. And the reality is that government has these statistics. If you look at, if you have trucks bring food every day from Tanzania, from up to Malawi and where here, then
I was surprised. I was surprised to see a bunch of matoke, and they told me this is from Tanzania, here in Kampala.
That's the
we
reality.
Import matoke from Tanzania. That's the reality.
That is the reality. The reality
so it
on
speaks
the ground.
of food shortages.
Exactly. So even as we discuss education, but I see some people saying the president is surrounded by greedy people, but the people that you get, are they competent? Or if they are competent, does the system allow them to apply their intelligence, their knowledge, or they are simply there to praise? If the technocrats are in the ministries, are there systems to check things like corruption, things that delay programs of government? There are serious projects if you go to Ministry of Agriculture there. But a project of 5 years, 10 years ends when you go on the ground where it was implemented. You don't see
I heard something from the public service that they are introducing performance-based something.
Yeah, when you mentioned the salary disparities and you mentioned the politicians, yeah, what are the output? It should be output based.
The people in this country who are earning much, actually, huge figures are politicians.
For us in the private sector, we sweat for money.
Richard, let's conclude.
No, I think you had an interesting quote of the phrase that we know, more of the same. I think we will have more of the same. You see, you can say many things, but also the situation on the ground tells the story, and it's very hard to reconcile the two. You can talk about the ease of doing business. You can talk about East African integration and claim that's why Matoke is coming from across
Tanzania.
The border. Yeah, you can say, but this is East Africa, integration, free market. Free market is what we have. You can argue all this.
Yeah, but Matoke.
But somebody else on the side.
Matoke from Tanzania up to here.
Yeah, somebody else on the side is also telling you that we have had a multiplication of food insecurity.
Yeah.
So you can have all these statistics and things, but also what is happening on the ground. And I think this crisis in education has been happening on the ground for quite a number of years. And the reports do exist. It's not a lack of information upon. So when you see art teachers on strike, it's likely that you can ignore them actually until the next year, the next budget. And technically there is no earth moving thing. But again, it's the compounding of the crisis that I'm talking about. Then you will, I don't know who their leaders are, but I think after the meeting where they met, I think some of them probably received calls and what, and you'd see them.
Oh.
Yeah, you'd see them starting to speak Rudisha.
Oh.
Yeah, the challenge, Apollo, always is that as a community called Uganda, as a community called Ugandans, we will keep paying these prices. Yes, we will pay.
It's we to pay.
Yes, it's we to pay, and ultimately, something gives. Always.
All right. Thank you so much, our viewers. I think we need to end this. I can see a letter here written by Honorable Wilson Muruli Mukasa, the Minister for Public Service, and he is inviting. It is addressed to the President of Uganda Professional Humanities Teachers Union and the Secretary General Uganda Professional Humanities Teachers Union. He is inviting them for a meeting on 30th June. On 30th June at State House Entebbe, and I'm sure that is His Excellency the President going to meet the leadership of the teachers' unions to find and chart way forward on this standoff as teachers continue to demand equal pay across the board. My name is Prince Apollo. Richard, it's always a pleasure having you on the show.
A pleasure being here myself.
Until next Saturday.
Yeah. I don't know where I will be coming from this time. Maybe I will be coming. I don't know.
Today you've been coming from.
Yeah, it was today.
Actually, yeah. Thank you so much for coming, Doctor.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure having you on this show.
It's a pleasure to be here, and of course, thanks to Salt Media Management for enlightening the country. It's very important.
Let's keep the hope. Alive, and hope that in the meeting at State House on the 30th is tomorrow?
No,
the day after tomorrow, Monday. And in that meeting, we hope to see a positive outcome. My name is Prince Apollo. Thanks to the production team. Thank you so much. The people who sent in the comments and observations, thank you. All our viewers, we are really grateful. Until next Saturday, God bless you. God bless Uganda.
Download the Salt Media app from the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store.